What if I owned Chessington World of Adventures? Not just managed it, not just tweaked a few rides, but fully owned it, with the power to reimagine areas, upgrade classic attractions, and push the park into a new era while respecting its identity. Chessington is a park with huge potential. It has an incredible location, a unique zoo and theme park combination, and a ride lineup that, while aging in places, still has a strong foundation. But for years it has felt like a park caught between generations, unsure whether it wants to be a full-filled destination or remain purely for families. So today I'm going to walk you through my vision for Chessington World of Adventures, and if I were in charge. Just to make it clear, this will be after Chessington has opened both Paw Patrol and Minecraft areas. So no more waiting, let's get right into it. Starting over at Toon Blaster, which is a Chessington classic, but it also is a ride that feels like it's stuck in the early 2000s, and to some this is a good thing, however I feel like it holds the ride back. Interactive shooters were huge when Toon Blaster first opened, but today the ride feels cluttered and confusing. Guests often don't know where to shoot, children struggle with the guns, and the score screens add very little to the overall ride experience. Instead, I would make Toon Blaster a pure dark ride adventure by removing the guns and targets and enhancing the theming, audio and lighting in places, and upgrading and improving the reliability of some of the effects on the ride. The story becomes about escaping a cursed tomb as it collapses around you, with moving walls, falling debris effects and dramatic sound effects Without guests being distracted by the guns and targets, they can actually take in the set, the characters and the environment. This instantly modernises the ride without needing a full rebuild and brings Toon Blaster closely in quality to modern dark rides across Europe. Moving over to Dragon's Fury, which is already one of Chessington's best thrill rides, the first thing I would do is fully retrack the ride as it's over 20 years old now, and a retrack would smooth out the ride experience, improve reliability and allow for slightly refined profiling on the spins, making it thrilling without being too uncomfortable. I would then completely update and upgrade the theming around the ride by adding more rockwork and nods to dragons with the use of dragon eggs and nests around the ride, and also make upgrades to the station and that horrible green warehouse that sticks out really badly. The Wanyama village area already has strong foundations, but currently feels like a space that guests pass through rather than truly experience. My goal would be to turn it into a living, breathing environment where guests naturally slow down and explore. I would do this by improving the overall infrastructure and improving the paths and the way it looks. And I would also make it so it is more noticeable from the entrance of Zufari, by adding more animal habitats on the way down to the Wanyama village so it doesn't feel so cramped and hidden away. I would also make some of the habitats look better by upgrading some of the fencing and replacing some of the glass panels as they do need replacing. I would also remove the playground and expand the path and have a nice fountain in the middle to make it more picturesque. This will make it look a lot nicer and also give people a quiet place to go to escape the crowds and the noise of the theme parks. Staying in the area, moving on to Safari, which is already a great concept, but in my opinion it is currently held back by its short ride duration. If I owned Chessington, I would extend the layout to create a longer and more immersive safari adventure, where you would often be able to see a wider variety of animals rather than the 2 or 3 you normally do. The new route would take guests deeper into the reserve, offering more natural viewing opportunities and reducing the stop-start feeling that the ride sometimes suffers from. You're probably wondering how I would do this. I would do this by extending the track into the field behind where the giraffes are, where the ride would give you the ability to see other wildlife such as eland and curry cattle, zebras and ostriches. This extension would also give people in the Wanyama village area a viewpoint of the ride, and the animals in that area with the already existing viewpoint at the top of the village area. This would also make the whole zoo portion of the park feel complete, and would flow together really well, as you can go from the penguins to the birds, and to the monkeys to the Wanyama village, ending with a ride on Zufari. The whole revamp also gives the zoo portion of Chessington a new life, and new legs to stay at the park for many years to come, as at this moment in time it does not seem like it will be around much longer, but it is a staple of Chessington, and it is what makes it stand out from the rest of the parks here in the UK. Heading on over to the Forbidden Kingdom area of the park, which currently suffers from a layout issue that makes it feel disconnected from the rest of the park. With only one entrance into the area, it doesn't clearly communicate from other points within the park that guests are entering a major themed land within the park. To fix this, I would relocate the entrance so that it incorporates Rattlesnake into the area from the very beginning. Guests would also now enter just after leaving Explorer's Point, and I would also add an entrance to the area just outside of Toon Blaster, so that you know you're about to enter a new area from that point within the park as well. The change will greatly improve guest flow and immersion, making Forbidden Kingdom feel like a complete and intentional land rather than a collection of separate attractions. Controversially, Rattlesnake would remain in place, which is a hot take as many people will simply remove it now that Mexicana is no longer an area. but I entirely replaced it with a better fitting Forbidden Kingdom area of the park. I would completely overhaul Rattlesnake to fit better with Forbidden Kingdom. The ride would be reimagined as a cursed minecart coaster where ancient artefacts are being transported through unstable tunnels. The queue would take guests through a dig site and cracked underground chambers filled with glowing relics and warning symbols. The ride itself will remain the same, with a few smaller changes, while I would add a few lighting and fog effects to add immersion to the ride. This approach keeps costs reasonable while dramatically improving immersion and cohesion within the land, and will keep Rattlesnake from looking out of place. Switching our attention to Vampire, which is one of Chessington's most iconic rides, but its age is becoming increasingly noticeable. Rather than removing it, I would retract Vampire using a modern Vekoma family suspended roller coaster system, allowing the ride to remain thrilling while becoming smoother, quieter and more reliable. The layout would stay largely the same to preserve nostalgia, but the theming would be significantly enhanced. The surrounding woodland would become darker and denser, with fog, lighting and atmospheric effects transforming the ride into a highly immersive experience. This investment would ensure Vampire remains a signature attraction for decades to come, while feeling completely refreshed. In this reimagined version of Chessington, Tiger Rock would be removed entirely and replaced with a brand new Mack water coaster themed around an Asian expedition. This change would modernise the park's water ride offering, while allowing Chessington to fully commit to a strong, cohesive theme that aligns with its existing areas. The new attraction would be set to a mythical Asian mountain region, where guests journey along a sacred river that flows through ancient temples and forgotten kingdoms. The story would centre around explorers attempting to follow this river upstream, unaware that the powerful forces and legends that protect it. The ride would include a combination of sweeping turns, gentle airtime moments and controlled splash sections that provide excitement without drenching riders. Waterfalls would also cascade over sections of the track, while mist effects and flowing water would enhance the sense of travelling through living mountain environment. The theming would draw inspiration from a variety of Asian architectural styles, incorporating pagoda stone bridges, carved dragon statues and weathered shrine structures overtaken by vegetation. Carefully designed lighting would highlight these elements and give the ride a mythical atmosphere, particularly in the evening. The queue would wind through an ancient mountainside shrine complex using carved murals, prayer flags and subtle sound design to tell the story of a sacred river that the spirits believed to guard it. As guests approached the station, the sound of rushing water and distant chimes would build tension and excitement. This Asian-themed Mack water coaster would become a flagship attraction for Chessington, offering higher capacity, stronger theming and greater rewriability than Tiger Rock, by combining traditional lift hills, immersive scenery and storytelling. The ride would deliver a timeless water-based adventure that appeals to families while still feeling like a major step forward for the park. One of the boldest decisions I would make if I owned Chessington World of Adventures would be to remove both Trail of the Kings and the Sea Lion enclosure. While both have important parts of the park's history, they completely occupy a large footprint that is underutilised in terms of guest capacity. In their place, I would create a completely new themed land, designed from the ground up rather than retrofitted into existing pathways. This is crucial because one of Chessington's biggest issues is that many of the areas have grown originally over time, resulting in awkward layouts and poor guest flow. This new land would be carefully planned to feel spacious, immersive and easy to navigate, even on the busier days. The new area and rides in the area will be themed around to the Himalayas. At the heart of this Himalayas area would be a Vekoma family launch coaster. Unlike most intense thrill coasters, this ride would be designed for families, but still offering plenty of excitement. The launch sections would simulate rapid mountain ascents and descents throughout narrow valleys, rocky tunnels and around temple ruins. The ride vehicles would feature thematic designs such as explorer carts or sleds, and the rides would feel like they are racing through sacred Himalayan landscapes in search of ancient treasures. In addition to the coasters, 2 flat rides would also be added to the area. By integrating a Vekoma family launch coaster and 2 flat rides into this Himalayan themed section of the park, it would be a perfect mix of family thrills and immersive exploration. It would replace outdated and underutilised spaces with dynamic, multi-layered environments that reinforce Chessington's identity as a park, where families can experience both excitement and storytelling in equal measures. And that's what I'd do if I owned Chessington World of Adventures, from retheming Toon Blaster, Dragon's Fury, Vampire and Rattlesnake, to adding a brand new themed area with a family launch coaster and flat rides, to extending Zufari and revamping Tiger Rock and Trail of the Kings. Every change that I would make to the park would make it more immersive, fun and family friendly. Chessington has always been a unique mix of thrills, adventure and animals. With these updates, it could become fully connected, story-driven park that keeps guests coming back again and again. So that's my vision for Chessington. Bold, imaginative and ready for the future. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you dream Chessington's changes would be. And until the next video, goodbye.